For thousands of years, this was the edge of our world, a fragile flame against an infinite darkness. We tamed fire, and fire shaped us. We built our world on what we could burn, and we burned our way into the future. But fire was never enough. For centuries, we burned anything we could find. Wood, coal, oil, gas. It gave us power, it gave us wealth, it gave us progress. But fire has limits. It consumes, it pollutes, it runs out. Humanity's greatest challenge isn't war, it isn't politics, and it isn't even climate change. It's energy. Civilization is a machine, and energy is its fuel. And now, the machine we built is starving. For the first time in human history, we need an alternative. We have always burned. We have always consumed. We have always taken from the earth. But the earth has little left to give. But this isn't the end of the story. What if I told you? There's a better way to power the entire world. What if energy wasn't something to be extracted, but something we created? A fire that doesn't burn, but fuses. A fire that doesn't consume, but creates. A power that doesn't belong to one nation, one company, one empire, but to all of us. A power that ends war, scarcity, and the limits of our world. A power so vast, it fuels the stars themselves. We have always burned, until now. We are trying to create a star on Earth. Before cities, before nations, before history itself, there was fire, a force stolen from the gods. A power we did not invent, only borrowed. It was never ours to begin with. It belonged to the earth, to the sky, to the chaos of the elements. Fire came as an accident, a violent, unpredictable force of nature. It arrived in flashes, lightning igniting forests, volcanoes spewing molten rock, the fury of the sun reaching us across empty space. For millions of years, we feared it. We ran from it. But then one day, we took it. And that is the moment that would define the next 100,000 years. With fire, we survived the cold. We drove back the night. We learned to control the world around us. It gave us warmth, but more importantly, it gave us time. Cooking food made it easier to eat, easier to digest. It gave us more energy for less effort. And that energy changed us. We stopped spending every waking moment hunting and gathering. We started thinking, planning, building. With fire, we melted metal and reshaped the world. We forged tools. We built walls. We conquered the land. Then we found new ways to burn. The Industrial Revolution was fire refined. Steam engines roared to life. Powered by coal ripped from the earth. Night turned to day as electricity flowed from burning fuel. Oil fueled the machines of war and industry. Gas carried us into the skies. Every empire, every revolution, every leap forward has been fueled by one thing: more energy. But the machine of civilization we built is never satisfied. Every light, every screen, every click, every heartbeat of modern life, it all runs on power. But the more we advance, the more we consume. And now, the machine is stalling. We built everything on borrowed time, and we are reaching the limits of the old world. If you're watching this, you probably don't think about energy much, but it's everywhere. It's in everything. It powers this very moment. The second you opened your eyes this morning, energy was already at work. Your alarm, your phone, the light overhead, the water heating for your shower, the coffee machine rumbling to life. Every click, every call, every message needs power. We don't think about it. We just expect it to be there. We flip a switch. Boom, the lights turn on. We plug in our phones, of course they charge. We hit play on Netflix, and pixels arrange themselves into movies that took 1,000 computers to render. But modern civilization isn't just powered by energy. It's addicted to it. And that addiction is getting worse. For centuries, we built everything on one simple idea: burn something to make power. Coal, oil, gas, the dead bodies of ancient plants and animals burned to keep the lights on. It worked for a while, but now we're running out, fast. By 2050, our energy demand will double, and we still get most of our power by burning dead things. But something has changed. Artificial intelligence is accelerating discoveries at a pace we've never seen before. This is something we will explore in another video, And we will dive into the implications of AI in solving this energy problem later in this video. But all you have to know is that for the first time, we are no longer bound by human trial and error. The breakthroughs that once took decades are now happening in months. AI isn't just helping us find energy, it's giving us a real shot at unlocking a power source we once thought impossible to obtain. And for the first time, a dream becomes a problem we can solve. Solar and wind. Amazing. Necessary. The future. But unreliable at times. Nuclear. Clean. Powerful. The best energy source we have today, but inherently risky. And let's be honest, people fear it. So, what's the answer? There is another way. Every drop of energy, every living thing, every movement comes from this reaction. What if we didn't just harness energy? What if we created it? We've tamed fire before, but this time, we will steal it from the stars themselves. For most of us, the word nuclear doesn't mean power. It means fear. It means this. It means fallout shelters. It means a world standing on the edge of destruction. And for some, it means disaster, death, contamination, the ghosts of cities left behind. And that is nuclear fission, splitting heavy atoms like uranium or plutonium to release energy. It works. It gives us power. A lot of it. But it also gives us something else. Nuclear waste, dangerous for thousands of years. It needs elaborate cooling systems to avoid meltdowns. And worst of all, it can be turned into a weapon. For decades, this was the only way we knew how to unlock the power of the atom. But there's another way, because not all nuclear reactions are the same. And this is nuclear fusion. Instead of splitting atoms apart, fusion fuses them together. It doesn't use uranium or plutonium. It doesn't produce long-lived radioactive waste. If something goes wrong, the reaction doesn't spiral out of control. It just stops. If fission is like blowing things apart with dynamite, then fusion is like forging fire from the stars themselves. We've spent decades fearing nuclear energy, but this is different. Fusion is not the weapon of destruction, but the cradle of creation. For nearly a century, fusion power has been the greatest energy promise we've never kept. A power source so vast, so limitless, it could change the world forever. And yet, for as long as we've dreamed about it, one phrase has haunted fusion's future.
Nuclear fusion, the holy grail of energy.
A source so powerful, it could provide limitless electricity with no pollution.
But it's still at least 30 years away.
We believe commercial fusion power could be ready by the year 2000.
Fusion is still 30 years away. It remains a distant dream.
Look, fusion is incredible, but let's be honest. We've been saying 30 years away for over half a century. After years of endless promises, a few things happened in silence recently, marking the turning point when dreams become reality. December 2022, Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, California. 192 of the world's most powerful lasers fire in perfect unison. For the first time in history, fusion wasn't just theory, it worked. Net energy gain in fusion was achieved for the very first time. February 2024, the joint European Torus sets a world record, 69 megajoules of fusion energy in just 5 seconds. Temperature inside the tokamak reactor was hotter than the core of the sun. It was the most energy ever created in a fusion reactor. And 5 seconds may not sound like much, but in the world of fusion, it was a lifetime. January 2025. China's experimental advanced superconducting tokamak reactor holds plasma at 100 million degrees for 1,066 seconds. For decades, fusion reactors could only hold plasma for a matter of seconds. This reactor just held it for 17 minutes. For the first time, we didn't just light the fire, we kept it burning. And then, just a few weeks later, China's record was broken. On February 12, 2025, the tungsten environment in steady-state tokamak in France sustained hydrogen plasma for 1,337 seconds, just over 22 minutes, a 25% improvement over the previous record. The fire is lasting longer, and the dream is closer than ever. For decades, fusion was always 30 years away. But now, we are no longer asking if fusion will happen, we're asking when. The wait is over. There's just one problem. Containing a star inside a magnetic field is really, really hard. Plasma, the fourth state of matter, isn't just hot. It's alive, chaotic, unpredictable, wild. If it touches the reactor walls, even for a fraction of a second, it cools down, and the reaction dies. For decades, this was fusion's biggest challenge. We could start the fire, but we couldn't hold it. But what if we let AI do it for us? DeepMind, the same team that created an AI that beat the world's greatest Go champion and solved the mystery of protein folding, has now trained an AI to control nuclear fusion. We are now using artificial intelligence to shape the future of our planet. But that's not all. Researchers from Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory found their AI model could predict plasma instabilities up to 300 milliseconds in advance. That's just enough time for a slow blink, but that's all the AI needs. It prevents a tear within the plasma's magnetic field lines that can upset the equilibrium, stopping an energy escape before it even begins. In that fraction of a second, it makes the perfect micro-adjustments, as if it dances with the very fabric of the universe, keeping the reaction stable, contained, burning. For the first time, artificial intelligence is holding the fire of the stars in its grasp. AI is not just helping us master fusion, it is changing the very nature of what is possible. For centuries, discovery was limited by how fast we could think, how quickly we could test, how much time we had to fail before we succeeded. Now, for the first time, we are no longer bound by human trial and error. AI isn't just solving problems, it is redefining the limits of what we can achieve. With AI, we are unlocking solutions once thought impossible. Curing diseases before they spread, predicting natural disasters before they strike, designing materials that don't yet exist. And now, we are taming the sun itself. The fire that once shaped us, the fire we could never tame, might actually bend to our will. The point of this video is not about replacing solar, wind, or nuclear fission. In fact, we need all of them, and we must invest in them now. But for the first time, we also have a real shot at something with even greater potential. A power once locked inside the heart of the universe, now might become ours to harness. This is not about choosing one energy source over another. This is about expanding the frontier of what is possible. Imagine a world where energy is never scarce, where energy isn't something we fight for, but something we create. For the first time in history, energy is no longer the limit. No more rationing. No more blackouts. No more choosing between progress and preservation. Because now, we have the power of the universe itself. For thousands of years, energy defined what was possible. It shaped entire civilizations. It built empires. It fueled revolutions. It determined where cities could rise, how fast we could travel, how far we could reach beyond our own world. Coal and steam carried us into the industrial age. Oil and gas powered the modern era. But every step forward came at a cost. Fossil fuels gave us power, but also pollution. They brought wealth, but also wars. They fueled economies, but trapped us in a cycle of scarcity and conflict. But what if power didn't come from what we could burn? What if it came from the most abundant element in the universe? This isn't just another energy source. This is energy perfected. And the secret? It's been in front of us the whole time. Not buried beneath the earth, not trapped in ancient fossils, not controlled by the few, but in water, in the oceans, in the very stars above us. The fuel for fusion is hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. It's everywhere. It's endless. It can't be monopolized, hoarded, or fought over. Do you know how much energy a person would need in a lifetime? About 1 million kilowatt hours. That's the equivalent of 27,800 gallons of gasoline. Enough to drive around the world 28 times. But with fusion, just 93 glasses of seawater could provide the same amount of energy. A single glass holds more energy than 300 gallons of gasoline. 100 glasses? More than a human will ever need for a lifetime. No drilling, no mining, no land destroyed, no wars waged, no competing for scraps in a world built on scarcity. Just clean, abundant energy, flowing everywhere, to everyone, forever. Think about what this means. Homes powered indefinitely, without a single power bill. Factories running without polluting the air. Entire cities illuminated, not by burning fuel, but by harnessing the same force that lights the universe. And it doesn't stop there. With fusion, the rules of civilization change. No more energy shortages. No more price fluctuations. No more dependence on unstable markets. Industries evolve. Steel, cement, manufacturing, no longer bound by the cost of power. Entire economies built around abundance, not limitation. Energy will no longer be a privilege. We will create a world where energy is so abundant, it's practically invisible. Energy has always defined what we can achieve. For the first time, that limit is gone. But will abundance make us reckless? If we had limitless energy today, would we only push the planet further into crisis? Some argue that if energy were infinite, we would only consume more, that we would burn through rainforests faster, pollute the air with unchecked industry, widen the gap between rich and poor, that we would take this gift of infinite power and lay waste to our world. But that's a reason to pursue it wisely, not to reject it. Abundant energy alone won't fix the world, but it gives us the power to. This isn't just about technology, it's about human nature. Energy is not the enemy. It is the foundation of everything we build. The question is not whether we should harness fusion. It is whether we will use it to create or to destroy. Fusion isn't just another fuel. It's an escape from the cycle of destruction. No more fossil fuel drilling. No more emissions. No more burning the earth to keep the lights on. This isn't just more power. This is the key to sustainability. Abundance doesn't have to mean destruction. For the first time, we have a chance to build, not burn, to power the future without destroying it. No pollution, no shortages, no energy crisis, no resource wars. A world where every home is a beacon of light and every dream is fueled by the power of a million suns. For thousands of years, we were bound by fire. Now, we are within arm's reach to hold the power of the stars. This is where it started. A gift stolen from the gods, a force tamed from the wild. With it, we lit the darkness, we warmed the cold, we built the world we know. Fire gave us strength, it gave us tools, it gave us power. But fire was never enough. For our entire history, we built our world on the edge of scarcity. Energy was never free. It was something to fight for, to hoard, to ration. But today we stand at the dawn of something new. For the first time in history, we see a future where energy is no longer the limit. Imagine a world where no one fights over oil, where energy is abundant, where we are no longer trapped by the limits of our own planet. We have mastered fire. We have split the atom. And now we are learning to create a star. So, why don't we have this future yet? The science works. The technology is coming together, but we still need something else. Funding, engineering, political will, the final obstacle standing between us and an unlimited future. Throughout history, the greatest breakthroughs didn't happen because they were easy. They happened because we refused to give up. From the spark that lit our first campfires to the controlled brilliance of a fusion reactor, our journey as humanity has always been defined by our unyielding desire to expand, to thrive, to live. Fusion isn't a dream anymore. A civilization powered by the universe is within our reach. The question is, will we build the future we deserve? The power of the stars is waiting for us. It's time to bring it home. This is not just an energy revolution. This is the next great leap in human history. This is our frontier.